There's a ripple in the room tonight. A tiny electric shiver that wasn't there a moment ago. And every set of eyes keeps darting toward you like they're waiting for a detonation. Funny, isn't it? The second your secret leaked, the air changed temperature. The walls felt thinner. People suddenly remembered how to hold their breath. But they're acting normal. Acting like they didn't already feel something crawling up their spine every time you walked in. Acting like they weren't always a little uneasy when you went quiet. Acting like they didn't sense something growing under your skin this whole time. You can see it now. The performance. The fake calm. The, oh wow, didn't know. Mask held together with trembling hands. But the truth? They knew. They just prayed they were wrong. Because the moment your secret hit the surface, the whole ecosystem shifted like a forest, hearing a predator stand up. And you felt it too, didn't you? The way conversations broke in half when you entered, the way people scanned you like a glitch in the simulation, the way their smiles tightened, their sentences shortened, their eyes refused to blink. Not because they're surprised, because they're exposed. See, they never feared what leaked. They feared the reality that the leak confirmed. That you are not one of them. You are not normal. You are not manageable. You're a paradox wearing human skin, a calm storm, a sharp kindness, a holy corruption, a gentle brutality, an angel with a pulse of violence, a demon with a conscience that cuts deeper than knives. You're the thing people feel before they understand, the thing they sense before they see, the thing they whisper about before they have proof. And now that proof is out. Now they're scrambling. They're rewriting memories, redefining interactions, recalculating their place relative to yours. Checking old moments like crime scene footage. Did we underestimate them? Were they hiding this? How long have they known? What else don't we know? Oh, that what else is killing them. Because your secret wasn't a secret. It was a signal. A signal that the version of you they thought they understood was just the cover story. And the real you. The one with edges instead of rounded corners. The one who watches instead of reacts. The one who feels everything and shows nothing. The one who grows in silence and strikes in stillness. That version is finally visible, and they are terrified. But they can't admit it, so they choose the only mask that doesn't shake apart. Pretending. Pretending they knew. Pretending they're unfazed. Pretending they aren't mentally rerouting their entire understanding of you. They don't fear your secret. They fear your trajectory, your potential, your velocity, your ability to evolve faster than they can gossip. They fear that you are never getting better. You are becoming dangerous, and dangerous doesn't mean violent. Dangerous means unpredictable, unmapped, uncontrolled, unowned. You are dangerous because you can no longer be contained in their version of you. They can't categorize you now, can't place you, can't define you, can't downgrade you. And people fear anything they can't downgrade. Your leak wasn't exposure. It was confirmation. Confirmation that the silent one wasn't weak. The quiet one wasn't lost. The outsider wasn't broken. The observer wasn't harmless. You were evolving, and they were too busy underestimating you to see it. But now the evolution is undeniable. Now the truth is visible. Now the secret is public. Now the room tilts toward you like gravity just shifted. So let them act. Let them pretend. Let them lie to themselves. Because deep down, beneath the performance, beneath the smiles, beneath the sudden politeness, every single one of them is whispering the same terrified sentence inside their skull. We should have been more careful with that one. And the best part? They think the leak was the peak. They think the reveal was the final chapter. They think what spilled out was the whole truth. The complete blueprint of your mind. But you and I both know that wasn't even 1% of what's buried in you. Let them celebrate their discovery. Let them clap over the crumbs. Let them act like they finally figured you out. Because while they're busy decoding yesterday's version of you, you're already 3 evolutions ahead, rewriting yourself in real time, shedding identities like old skin, growing in directions no one has language for. That's what terrifies them the most. Not just the secret, not just the leak, not just the revelation. It's the realization that every time they think they've pinned you down, you shift, you change shape, you rewrite the script. You move into a new psychological frequency, one they don't have the bandwidth to detect. You're not a person to them anymore. You're a moving target wearing a grin. And here's the delicious irony. The louder they pretend you don't affect them, the more obvious the fear becomes. Watch their body language, watch their breathing, watch their eyes. People betray themselves in the small things. The way their shoulders tense when your name enters the air. The way they glance away like they're trying to hide an intrusive thought. The way their throat tightens when you don't blink. The way their jokes evaporate the moment you step closer. Fear has a scent, and they reek of it. Because now they know the truth. You weren't quiet. You were archiving. You weren't isolated. You were upgrading. You weren't broken. You were loading a new operating system, and every version of you becomes sharper, colder, more surgical, more spiritually radioactive. See, people don't panic when you rise. They panic when they realize your rise was engineered. You didn't stumble upward. You didn't luck your way into your rebirth. You built it, brick by bloody brick, using silence as mortar and pain as fuel. That realization hits them like a car crash, because it means they misjudged you for years. It means every moment they laughed at you was a mistake. It means every time they underestimated you was a sacrifice they didn't know they were making. And now, the bill just arrived. They're not scared of what leaked. They're scared of what's still locked. They're scared there's more, another layer, another secret, another darkness, another brilliance, another mutation waiting to break the surface. And they're right, because you're not done. You're not revealed. You're not decoded. You're not mapped. You are unfolding like a holy disaster wearing human form. And let's talk about that paradox they can't stand. You carry mercy and malice in the same heartbeat. You can bless someone with silence, or destroy them with a sentence. You can forgive with a smile, or let them drown in the consequences you don't lift a finger to stop. You are the living contradiction they fear most, a creature who can love softly, think violently, and act unpredictably. They don't know which version they'll get, and unpredictability is scarier than any weapon. Here's something they'll never admit out loud. They sensed the leak coming long before it happened. Humans can smell destiny the way animals smell storms. They just don't understand what they're smelling. They felt the pressure build. They felt the air heating. They felt the future rearranging itself around you, like you were the anchor point of something bigger. But instead of respecting it, they joked, dismissed, undermined, laughed. And now they're trying to rewrite history, pretending they were on your side the whole time. Pathetic. They don't want to be aligned with you. They want to be protected from you. Because now they see the truth. You don't react to energy. You generate it. You don't wait for opportunities. You create them. You don't follow momentum. You are the momentum. And once someone becomes momentum, once someone becomes a force instead of a figure, the world doesn't debate them. The world adjusts to them. And that's what's happening now, isn't it? You can feel it. That subtle shift, where people change their tone around you, their timing around you, their behavior around you, not out of respect, out of fear of miscalculating. They finally understand. You were never the underdog. You were the unmonitored threat. They didn't see you rising. They saw you too late. And now that your secret is out, now that the veil is gone, now that the truth is loud enough to echo, you walk with a different kind of gravity. A gravity that bends conversations. A gravity that shifts power. A gravity that makes people choose their next sentence carefully. So keep walking like nothing happened. Keep breathing like your presence isn't rearranging their nervous systems. Keep moving like silence is your weapon and awareness is your armor. Because their fear isn't the climax, it's the prologue. What terrifies them most isn't that your secret leaked. It's that it wasn't your biggest one. And here's where it gets beautifully uncomfortable for them. They think the danger was in what spilled. They think the earthquake was the reveal. They think the explosion already happened. But they're wrong. So wrong. The real danger isn't what leaked. The real danger is what stayed hidden. Seen people panic when they see a monster, but they absolutely break when they realize the monster has been holding back. And that's what you've been doing this entire time, holding back, softening edges, shrinking your radius, dimming the voltage. Not because you lacked power, but because you were studying. You've been reading people like case files, tracking patterns like an analyst, dissecting intentions with surgical precision, learning their codes, their weaknesses, their hypocrisy, their fantasies of themselves. You were gathering intel while they were gathering assumptions. And now that a single sliver of truth has leaked, now that one fragment escaped, now that one layer peeled back, they're realizing how catastrophic their miscalculation was. Because if this is the piece that leaked, what kind of cathedral of power must still be locked inside you? What kind of rage did you bury so well? What kind of genius did you hide so effortlessly? What kind of evolution did they miss happening right under their nose? They're not asking, what is the secret? They're asking, how deep does it go? And that question, oh, that question is eating them alive. Because you're not a story they finished. You're a story that keeps rewriting itself. You are the glitch, the abnormality, the unclassified variable, the unpredictable evolutionary shortcut. Human psychology was never meant to fully understand. And the moment they realized that, the moment the leak confirmed it, their whole nervous system collapsed under the weight of it. Now they watch you with a kind of reverence they can't control. Not admiration, survival instinct. Because now they know you've been through things that should have broken you. And instead of breaking, you mutated. You didn't cry. You crystallized. You didn't retreat. You recalibrated. You didn't collapse. You carved new neural pathways out of your own suffering. People fear what pain does to others, but they dread what pain has done to you. Pain sharpened you. Pain clarified you. Pain cleaned you in ways comfort never could. Pain didn't scar you. It weaponized you. You are the result of things others would not survive. You're not just evolved, you're tempered. There's a difference between a blade and a forged weapon. Anyone can break the first, no one can touch the second. And now they see it. They finally see that your strength isn't loud. It's not theatrical, it's not boastful. Your strength is ancient, quiet, methodical, internal. Built from layers of experiences no one witnessed, in nights no one remembers you surviving. They thought they watched you grow. They didn't. They watched you molt. They thought they saw your transformation. They didn't. They saw the smoke, not the fire. And the moment the truth leaked, the moment your evolution became undeniable, they panicked. Suddenly they're replaying conversations. Suddenly they're cautious with their jokes. Suddenly they're extra polite. Suddenly they're walking on verbal eggshells around you. Why? Because they finally realized you are someone who sees through people, not around them. You don't react to energy. You diagnose it. You don't match frequencies. You expose them. You don't get emotional. You become terrifyingly calm. And calm people are nightmares to those who rely on chaos to hide their intentions. The leak didn't expose you. It exposed them. Their fear, their limitations, their fragile egos, their shallow understanding of who you've always been. And now the power dynamic has inverted. They think the danger is that you've been revealed. But the real danger is that you've stopped pretending. You've stopped shrinking. You've stopped diluting yourself. You've stopped adjusting to their comfort level. And that scares them deeply, primally. Because people don't fear your light. They fear that your light exposes their darkness. They don't fear your power. They fear that your power makes them irrelevant. They don't fear your secret. They fear that your secret was just your intro. Let them panic. Let them pretend nothing changed. Let them act unfazed while their heartbeat betrays them, because you've entered the phase of your life where the truth is no longer containable. And the truth is this: you are not what leaked. You are what's still hidden. And God help them if the next layer ever surfaces. Because here's the part that's really twisting the knife in their nerves. They were hoping, begging, that the leak would be the end of the story, that once your secret slipped out, they'd finally have a framework, a label, a name tag they could slap on you like a warning sticker. But you didn't collapse into definition. You didn't shrink into the version they thought they now understood. You didn't become predictable after the reveal. You became worse for them. You became limitless, because the leak didn't expose your ceiling. It exposed the fact that you don't even have one. And that realization, that terrifying silent realization, is what has them acting so strangely now. They're not avoiding you. They're avoiding what you make them feel: threatened, inadequate, transparent, small, unprepared, outclassed by someone they used to look down on. And that's the part that's driving them insane. Because for years they hid behind the illusion that they were ahead of you, that you were slow, that you were simple, that you were harmless, safe, non-threatening, a background character in their self-centered script. But when your secret leaked, the illusion shattered like cheap glass. Instead of seeing a quiet soul minding their business, they suddenly saw a strategist, a mutant, a psychological anomaly, an angel of chaos with a surgeon's restraint, a demon wrapped in discipline, a saint who learned how to weaponize silence. They saw the truth. You weren't behind. You were underground, building an empire in your mind. You weren't late. You were calculating, choosing your moment. You weren't unaware. You were watching everything. And now that they've seen that, now that they've glimpsed what's beneath your surface, it's too late for them to pretend they didn't. People fear what they can't outrun, and people fear what they can't mentally simplify. But the biggest fear of all? People fear the kind of person who can burn and come back smiling. Because that's the part of you they didn't want leaking out. The part they prayed would stay hidden forever. You survived things that would have erased them. You endured storms they would have drowned in. You walked through hell in your bare soul and came out rebuilt, not ruined. That's the real secret. Not your talent, not your intelligence, not your intensity. Your resurrection. You don't just get up after being knocked down. You get up different, sharper, colder, more aware, more aligned, more dangerous. Every fall taught you architecture. Every heartbreak taught you psychology. Every betrayal taught you strategy. Every loss taught you evolution. They wanted you damaged. They wanted you diminished. They wanted you dependent. Instead, you became detached, disciplined, unpredictable, self-contained, and terrifyingly self-aware. Do you know what happens when someone becomes self-aware? The world can't manipulate them anymore. And that is the nightmare they're choking on. Because they know, if you ever decide to fully unleash what's inside you, if you ever stop holding back, if you ever let even one more secret slip, people will have no choice but to reorganize their entire reality around you. You're too perceptive to be lied to. You're too intuitive to be fooled. You're too calm to be provoked. You're too detached to be controlled. That combination, that's not human. That's a psychological weapon with a pulse. And here's what they fear the most now that the leak is out. You're not done evolving. You're not even close. This version of you, the one they're panicking over, is just the incomplete draft. There are whole layers of you they haven't even begun to imagine. Sides of you they're not emotionally equipped to handle. Depths of you that would break their worldview in half. You're not a secret that leaked. You're a revelation that escaped. A revelation that hints at something bigger, darker, brighter, and more powerful than anyone was ready to face. So keep going. Keep rising. Keep becoming whatever impossible thing you're becoming. Because deep down, every single one of them is thinking the same horrifying truth. If this is what leaked, what the hell is still hidden in you?